I'm gonna press the button. I'm gonna press the intro. Can I press the intro?
Right, press the button then.
Press the button.
Yes.
I'm gonna press the button. Welcome back, everybody, to We Talk Film Podcast. I'm your host, Barry, joined by Clayton, as always. How are things, Clayton?
Hey, I'm good. I'm just kind of chilling. Barry, how have you been?
Just kind of chilling again. I'm doing well, you know. I'm prepped. I'm ready. We're having some camera difficulties, as always, because of programs being annoying, as always. That's all right. I suppose I'll just probably have it the same image I did as last week because of what we're talking about today.
Whoa. Yeah, that would make sense because today we're talking about one of our most anticipated television shows of the year, the season 4 of The Boys. It's been a hell of a ride.
It's been one hell of a ride.
Oi, Huey. Homelander done killed me wife and took me bloody son. Womp womp.
Yep. That's The Boys.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. But before we get to The Boys, as always, throw us on over to the newsroom, Barry.
The news.
We here at We Talk Film, we keep everyone updated in all of that yada yada. I don't know, baloney, I guess is the word we can use to describe the news, especially our news, because we are great. We're great at that. Great at telling the news. You can tell by the way I'm stalling for time. While I open my screenshots folder to see. There we go. Okay.
Always ready. All right,
so
on the ball.
First story this week. I'm always ready. Is we got a follow-up to Alec Baldwin's trial. Because it's been dismissed. The trial over that. He faced 18 months in prison, but he will now walk free after the prosecutors were found hiding evidence. So the people trying to get him in trouble were hiding evidence of some stuff, and that led to it all just being dismissed.
Yep, that will do it.
That'll do it. That's wacky. That whole situation was a hell of a thing.
Yep.
He should not have been as at fault as people made it out to be. It is a 100% an armorer and a props master thing that led to that fatal shooting. But I don't know. That's how it is. I cannot remember if those people faced like charges and stuff, but I think they did.
I think they went to jail. I know one of them did.
It was a long time ago. So we're just following up on that, and I cannot remember. I've done no research for tonight. You're hearing it straight out of don't trust anything we say.
This is live news.
Anyway, moving over. Kind of, I guess, sure. Is a whole bunch of movie items, movie memorabilia, movie like replicas, including a shit ton of like Batmobiles, have been destroyed in a wildfire that happened at a Warner Bros. Exposition in Rio.
No!
Yeah, so some Batmobile replicas, there was a Scooby-Doo van, just a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Oh, man.
Was destroyed, got up in flames.
It
sucks. But
that does
at least
suck.
no one was hurt. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a little bit of my soul died.
100%. I want one of those Batmobiles, but now
I want the mystery machine.
Yeah, that would. It's just a van. You pick like the worst one. You get out a Batmobile and you're like, no, I want the hippie van.
Yep.
Okay. Next bit of news is we got a trailer for Terminator Zero. This is the Netflix animated one. We got a proper another look at it through this brand new trailer. Oh boy, it looks really good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
With his style and everything, it's a hell of a vibe.
Yep. Because that's the thing. It's I'm guessing it's meant to be based before the original Terminator or whatever. Like this is the Terminator before Arnie's Terminator. Because that's the thing. If you don't know too much about Terminator lore and everything like that, apparently the original Terminator, his voice was meant to be like a country western guy, like Timothy Oliphant. But then, like, they obviously got Arnie because Arnie was a very big actor at that time. They're like, we got to get him type thing. And that's the reason why his voice changed. So yeah, bit of
wacky.
Terminator lore for you.
That's really funny because the whole idea of them trying to blend in, but then they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger is like the funniest part of the original Terminator films. That was great. We also got a look at the next season of Stranger Things as well. Another sort of behind the scenes trailer, not a proper trailer, but a behind the scenes.
That's still happening.
At them, it's halfway
Are the
through
kids
production.
like 30 now?
Half filmed. Yeah, they are, but you know what? That makes sense because they're doing 80s still, so all of the adults are playing kids. That's just how they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next bit of news relates directly to something that we will talk about in a future episode, is we got a final trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh,
Barry,
yeah,
did you
we
watch
did.
This final trailer?
Oh, yes, I watched this final trailer like a few thousand times. It's all I've been doing. Just Alt tab.
Constantly?
Just constantly. That's what I've been doing since it's come out. I am so excited for this movie. You know I am.
Are you? Do you think they're showing too much in trailers, or do you think this is like tip of the iceberg level of stuff?
This is tip of the iceberg level stuff that a lot of people already knew was expected to happen because of the trailers they released. I can tell you right now, there is so much other stuff that is so like mind-blowing that has not been put into the trailers yet, but is going to be in the film.
Oh boy. So for those who haven't seen the final trailer, we got a full look at Lady Deadpool. We also got the return of Daphne Keene's X-23, and it appears to be the one from the Logan movie. Like,
it is.
That exact movie, that one. As well as like a whole bunch of other stuff, some more looks at some different angles of scenes that we've seen. We saw a bit more of Sabretooth. It was a whole thing. It was really cool. A lot of people, like that's why I brought it up, is think that they've shown everything. Everyone seems to be like, they've spoiled everything. There's too much. Saved X-23. Do you reckon they should have saved X-23? Would you have spun out in the cinema?
I've been like read into and been told and stuff like that. Apparently, all what happens that we've seen in the trailers happens within the first 20 minutes of the film.
Right.
Well, majority of what they've been releasing has been put into the first like 20 to 30 minutes of the film.
The film is like 2.5 hours long too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long movie.
There's a lot of stuff that they're not putting in the trailers.
This film is either going to be like the greatest superhero film ever made, or just like the absolute wackiest pile of dog shit that we will ever see.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly here for either way.
Yeah, either way, it's like representative of Deadpool. It's either going to be the best film ever made, or just absolutely wacky crazy, which is Deadpool in its lonesome.
Yeah.
So you know it works either way.
Anyone who's read it, anyone who's read a Deadpool comic knows that it's either going to be like really cool and funny, or just absolutely terrible.
Yep.
So there's like no in between for Deadpool comics. So that's great. I love that. The thought of it just being terrible. It gets me more excited for it in a weird way.
Oh yeah.
Okay, speaking of things that people got excited about, in a huge like out of nowhere Emmy nomination thing, Fallout has been nominated for 16 Emmys.
Damn.
Which is just kind of like a huge amount of nominations. It's come kind of out of nowhere, considering I kind of forgot about the show. As much as I liked it, I didn't think it would have caught on like this. At least not at the awards.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Like, it's great, but like, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very insane. Good on them. We have to wait and see who wins what. The Emmys, I don't know when it is, but we'll follow up on that when we figure that out. Okay. Speaking of follow-ups, this is a follow-up to a television show that is thankfully not getting any more follow-ups. Paramount Plus's Halo series is officially being cancelled.
Yippee!
It's gone 2 seasons. No more. Apparently, Xbox, Amblin, and 343 are still shopping around, so there's a small chance the series could continue elsewhere.
Yeah, I know they wanted to go to Netflix or something. They had deals today. So.
Oh, God. Unless they take it and just be like, hey, we're just doing a reboot we're doing it properly. Like,
I
that could be
mean,
cool.
like, if anyone wants to take the rights away from 343 and get better people involved with that franchise, and actually base it on the books a bit more, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like it's a great universe. I don't know how you can mess it up that bad, but I guess
somehow
we
they
found
did.
out.
And they still got 2 seasons
So that's
made.
cool. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Moving back to Fallout. I forgot I had this one too. Season 2 of Fallout apparently is way ahead of production schedule. They're saying that
okay.
they're getting it done really quickly. It's surprising everyone at Amazon, and they're loving it. They're all saying,
That's
you know,
great.
we're so far ahead because we love doing this and it's really special and it's coming along well. So that might come out sooner than we think.
I hope so.
Pretty crazy.
I
Considering
want more Fallout.
the first one like just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Considering a lot of the faults of Fallout were it's low budget or it's trying to do something it doesn't quite know yet. Whereas I feel like a season 2, it's gonna fix all of the issues that it had, so that's cool. We'll see what happens with that. Okay. Is this the final story? This is the final story. Yes. Okay. Kevin Feige, the chief architect behind the MCU, a whole bunch of other Marvel-related things. He's
just
receiving
Marvel in general.
His own star. Yeah, pretty much on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's getting a star. Which is
okay.
First time in a long time that someone who's not like a big actor has gotten one.
Yeah.
Or a big director. So it's like a head of studios guy that's getting one. It hasn't happened in a long time.
No, you don't hear that too often.
I feel like it, even though the state of Marvel right now is god awful, I still feel like it's deserved. He kind of helped craft the biggest franchise in the world ever.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, it makes sense. It's a bit of Hollywood history, so that's cool. Good on him. Sure. Go back to making good movies now. Thank you.
Yes, please. Just make something good.
Yeah, well, that's it for the news. Let's talk about something good then.
All right, let's talk about something good. We're going to be talking about The Boys Season 4. Here's a clip for this season.
Violence is power.
That's the spirit, champ.
Who wants a creamy, delicious milkshake?
If we're ever gonna win against monsters, we need to start acting human.
Run!
You're all fucking welcome.
Yeah, so that is season 4 of The Boys. It literally just finished this past weekend. Obviously, yeah, 8-episode run. And I would have to say, this season so far, with a lot of people on the internet and stuff, is quite a decisive thing, a decisive discussion to talk about. Because there's a lot of people that I know that haven't liked this season, and then like the other half have enjoyed this season. It's very 50-50, or the reactions I'm seeing anyway.
Yeah, I don't get it, because this season has been amazing. Like, start to finish. There's very few things wrong with it. We'll get into those. But,
yeah,
like, the discourse is insane. People are saying this show was terrible. The finale was the only good thing. Like, this is the worst thing they've ever seen. It feels like it's come out of nowhere. And we've talked about it on a previous episode. We're still not quite sure why it's getting this sort of negative reception. It's very wacky.
Yeah. Like it's been a bit odd. I think like I was watching another video of a person talking about their thoughts on it and stuff like that, where it was like some elements that they didn't like, they felt kind of poor, and a lot of what he was saying as well, a lot of these episodes did feel like filler episodes compared to other seasons episodes.
I mean, I guess, but if you watch those seasons, they had the same sort of thing. Each episode was some of the boys going on some little adventure. There's a superhero that shows up, and then the overarching thing kind of happens in the background until sort of the finale where it wraps together. It's done this 3 times already, and it's been sort of the same story structure and flow
and
each
so
season.
maybe that's why people are saying this potentially. yeah, I like it's kind of
Maybe?
interesting.
I don't
Like,
know.
yeah, I haven't really done full deep dive into it because I've just been enjoying the hell out of this season and stuff like that. Like, that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
nonstop for me since like the first episode, which will go episode by episode. So, season 4, episode 1 was called Department of Dirty Tricks. After Butcher misses his opportunity to kill Homelander by Soldier Boy, he attempts to get Ryan back on his side and correct his mistakes. Meanwhile, Homelander seeks out a new ally as he struggles to come to terms with his mortality. So yes, at the backbone of the back end of season 3, basically Soldier Boy got taken away. And after that, we found out that obviously Butcher's got cancer and he's only got like a year to live. Now even less and everything like that. And this comes into this first episode where they're trying to take out Victoria Newman again. They're trying to do a whole plan of getting like acid in her to see if that works.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everything goes to shit. We find out Newman's daughter is got V mutant powers now and everything like that, and rips Kimiko's arm off. They go flying out the window. It's a whole like Deadpool baby hand moment again, which was kind of funny to see. Like it was just like growing and everything like that. And then obviously during
this opening episode,
was pretty great.
yeah, it kicked it off really well. It gave us the whole opening with the boys on a mission, which I love seeing, and I wish we get to see more of because I started reading the comics a week ago.
Oh,
Barry.
Yep, that's right.
No, I know you've read the boys. I've started reading.
Yep.
I'm halfway through. Finished issue 5 of the
Nice,
12
nice.
volume series. That's constant boys on missions all the time,
Yes.
and there's
Yes,
a lot
all the time.
of that all of the time. It's a mission after a mission after a mission. I love seeing it. The dynamic just works so well. So that's the opening to this season. It was great. I definitely loved that. Because season 3 had such a terrible ending. That was a good season. The shit ending. Last episode of that was so bad. But I was kind of a little scared that we were taking a step backwards in show quality going into this. And if it wasn't for Gen V being really good, I don't think I would have had that much of a high expectation for it. How do you feel about the whole endings, the Gen V situation, all this?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, the ending, I still enjoyed season 3 mainly because of Soldier Boy in it. That he was just it was the one thing I missed this season. That was the one thing like I do miss this season was Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy. I was hoping we get like a little taste of him, which I suppose we did in the final episode, but it wasn't him talking. But there was other elements in this season which I really enjoyed a lot more and stuff like that. And yeah, the ending of season 3 of The Boys was very much like big superhero-y like moment type thing, which like you see in a lot of other superhero films, and it's like was one of those things where The Boys was always meant to take like the piss out of superhero films in a way. Like always meant to be a joke, make them into a joke type thing. And that the last episode of season 3 was very much like, oh, let's do what all other like superheroes do and stuff like that. And the two guys team up together to save the sun. It was just like, okay, no one died. Like I was hoping someone would die last season, but then Gen V came out, and then I was just like, wow, that was impressive. Gen V was really impressive. We did talk about it on the podcast when Gen V did come out. Gen V, was very good. Like new cast of talent and everything like that. And then that got me very hyped because obviously that led into season 4 of The Boys, where Butcher's trying to track down the virus and everything like because he knows it, and it could probably be the one thing that will hopefully kill Homelander. And going into this first episode, talking about Homelander, which I absolutely love this character, especially this season. Because
so
now he is coming to terms that yes, he is basically a god and stuff like that, but he still can age. He can still grow old. You know, like he does have his own mortality.
Gray hair.
He's got gray pubes and gray hair.
That's right. Yeah, he keeps them in a jar for some reason.
Yep.
That's never explained this season. He just keeps doing it.
You know, it's a Homelander thing.
Gross.
The guy's weird but amazing. Like Anthony Starr's performance with Homelander is just phenomenal.
So
like
good.
this, it's been one of the absolute standouts of this show. has
he's
been
killing it.
Homelander. He's killing it.
100%.
And then through that, we're introduced through a new character this season called Sister Sage, who in the Boys universe is the smartest person alive.
Yep. She's kind of cool. I will
she
say,
is
I
kinda
enjoyed her more as the show went along. 'Cause
Yes,
you get all the
yeah.
nuance with her and the interactions with like the deep and noir that really shone through. She ended up being like a really funny side character, but I don't know. She was just kind of there. She didn't really do a lot, despite being the smartest, kind of pulling the strings a little bit. She was just more kind of like a there, like Palpatine in A New Hope level of
Exactly.
just kind of there.
Yeah. I think
Sort of
she'll
thing, which
probably
is
have a
good. It's good to
more
see.
bigger role in the final season, which we'll talk about a bit later
Next
on.
one. Yeah,
the next one.
probably.
Yeah. But
Probably.
another big actor that they also introduced this episode was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Joe Kessler
Yes.
character. Do we want to say the spoiler now before we go into the episode
Oh,
about
we already
him?
spoiled it. Yeah,
Yeah,
spoilers
okay.
for everything in the boys.
Spoilers
'cause,
for
you know, we do that.
everything. So when they announced after season 3, I think it was only like a couple months or whatever, and they go into filming season 4, they were just like, oh, by the way, we're adding Jeffrey Dean Morgan to the show. And I was like, what? Type thing, because like he has been like a very big standout in a lot of things I've seen him in. Same things like Walking Dead. The only reason why I finished Walking Dead was because of his Negan character, because he just played it so well and everything like that. And I just loved every single second like of Jeffrey Dean Morgan being on screen. Because and so I was so excited when they announced him and everything like that. And then throughout the first half of this season, with his character and everything like that, he's basically used to work with Butcher back in the day, doing some spec ops stuff, whatever they used to do. And Butcher obviously saved him and everything like that. We then slowly find out they have done a whole like Fight Club thing, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is not real whatsoever, and it's been the cancer inside of his head that's mutated into a V souped up cancer, which is Jeffrey Dean Morgan now.
That is so wacky that I love it. Right?
Yes.
Did you like it? Because this was another thing.
Yes.
Some people hated the idea of them doing the like, oh, fake friend sort of thing. He's not real. He's in his head. Because some people saw it coming. Whether you saw it coming or not, I still think it was really well done. It worked. It's such a cool twist on the whole, like, having side effects on people, but which has been a big thing, is that like it messes with you. So this was a cool physical way of showing what it's doing to someone like Butcher, who is dying.
Yeah.
It's great to see, and it gets better and better as it goes. Once we know he's not real, he kind of just shines even more from that point on.
Oh yes. Yep. And then through all that, because that's the thing in the Boys Diabolical, the animated spin-off that they did a couple years back now, they actually had one of the episodes dedicated about this old lady who had cancer, and then the husband got hold of some V, and then the cancer became mutated and stuff like that. And then I always found it funny because that show, it's kind of like the really odd episode out of like all of them, because all the other ones are quite like humorous and funny and stuff like that, where that one was actually like quite serious and everything like that. So it's just like okay, and then they've kind of bring it back now with Butcher having souped up V cancer.
Yeah. Oh, so wacky. Oh, okay. So this season overall is mostly about the boys trying to get Newman. That seems to be like their goal this season, is they can't really kill Homelander, so they're taking out the next best thing that they think they can, using the virus that we found out existed in Gen V, which is another thing, because when they did Gen V, they said you didn't have to watch it to keep going with the boys. It is explained, the virus thing, but a lot of it carries straight over. That I think that statement just fell out of the window as soon as season 4 came out. But yeah, it's the boys are doing that. They also don't like Butcher at all this season.
Oh no, because he's no
They wanna
longer
get
like
rid
the
of
team leader or anything like that. is.
Yeah, and he's really skinny now because he lost a lot of weight. His character's stressing out. He's got like hives at some point. It's crazy. So that's happening. What else is going on in the boys?
So we
Annie
go
and
over
Huey are pretty
to that's actually something I wanted to bring up. One thing I did not like this season was Starlight. And like the whole
Really?
relationship between her and Huey and stuff like that. That was the one thing I just thought
Okay.
was kind of a bit odd and a bit strange. And obviously, because we find out that obviously between last season and this season, at one point, Starlight had an abortion with Huey's kid, and like maybe that was like representative of why their relationship was a bit. It felt a bit odd, if I'm being honest. Like it felt a lot of the moments between them, there was no emotional impact. There was no like past season before while they were really like talking and
Okay.
really good for one
yeah.
another and actually talked about things. Where this season they're just like, I'm going like Huey. Oh, and this brings to another story element for the season with Huey's dad and mum and everything like that, which we'll talk about afterwards. But yeah, basically Huey was going through stuff with his family, with his mum and his dad and everything like that. And Starlight's just kind of like doesn't bother to ask or like offer to help with any of it type thing. And it's just like,
I don't
that
know.
is your partner.
She was more kind of there for the moral support thing. I guess she was more like, you should go be with your dad, do this. But yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, like it wasn't
really
discussed or anything
A
like
little bit.
that.
It
And
had
then
some moments.
there was like very tiny,
No.
because a very big episode, which happens this season with Simon Pegg's character, which is Huey's dad and stuff like that. Because obviously Simon Pegg was meant to be the original person to play Huey, and that's the reason why if you read the comics, the Huey in that looks like Simon Pegg. Basically, he had a stroke and everything like that. And then Huey thought it would be a smart idea. Hey, he's basically had a stroke. He's brain dead. If I get some V type thing, which he gets from A-Train, by the way, and A-Train, oh my gosh, he's been a standout this season as well.
He's been so good.
So good. But basically, yeah, Huey tries to, put V in him and everything like that. At the same time while that's going, his mum comes back after like 20 years type thing, being like, hey, I'm here for your dad because he had a stroke and everything like that. And he was like, what? Like, why are you here? Like, I'm going to take care of him. And then that was a whole thing, which I thought was really well done and stuff like that. And then basically Huey doesn't get the V, but then the mum does. And then Huey's dad comes back for a little bit. And he's like, oh, that's all good. And then Huey's dad gets powers. And then he starts freaking out because he had a stroke and the V's not reacting too well. He's basically like brain dead and he's like freaking out what to do. And then he kills a whole bunch of people in the hospital. And then Huey, unfortunately, has to put his dad down. Essentially, that's what happens. And that was such a full-on episode for all that to happen. And then like Starlight was just kind of like, I will hug you because your dad died. Let's not talk about it whatsoever. And let's not talk about your mum coming back. This is like, what?
Yeah, I get it. But the show was also juggling everything else at the same time.
Yeah.
A lot of
There was a lot this
that
season.
sort of stuff is implied between episodes as well. Like the whole talking it out. It doesn't show some of that. It'll give us hints at that or give us little bits. It doesn't show as much as like it could have. But we're getting a lot more other stuff as well. So I see that criticism. Didn't really bother me too much because I still got what was happening. I was still going along with it. It was still making sense to me. And I still thought the relationship was working quite well. But I feel like at the end of the season, it was in a better place with that added element.
Yes. By the end of the season, it definitely got better. Type thing between all of it, but it was just still like while it was all happening, while it was all going down, you just like you want to say something at least. So that all happened. We can also talk about A-Train this season, who's been absolutely amazing stuff. Turns out he's been kind of like a mole for the boys. He's been telling MM all the secrets and stuff like that, and what's going down with Vought and everything like that. And kind of having a change of heart after all the seasons and finally seeing, oh, wait a minute, the Seven and a Homelander aren't great. They basically want to rule the world and put people into camps and all that. And he's like, I don't want that to happen. And then he has like, basically he becomes a hero by the end of this season. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with his character because they didn't put him in the final episode of this season, which is understandable because so much was going on And if they put his character in that, I feel like it would have just been like way too much, and the episode would have gone on for like
100%.
an hour and a half type thing.
No, it makes sense for him. But I was so surprised because this is the first, apart from Starlight, the first like redemption hero. Starlight didn't really have a redemption. She was kind of good from the start, but like this is the first of the 7 that's come good. I guess Maeve as well, as it technically, but like she was kind of in her own thing.
But that's the thing, like yeah, Maeve's always been kind of good
show
and stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing, like A-Train from the beginning straight up killed Huey's girlfriend. Like that's the first scene of the first episode. Essentially, that's how it all began. And to see him go through this crazy like arc of turning around and actually wanting to become a hero, because he ends up, there's an episode where the boys and everything need to get into, basically I forgot what his name, Detective Knight.
Tech Knight.
Yeah, something like Tech Knight. That's right. And they need to get information. They find out all the superheroes are going there, all the politicians and stuff like that. This was one wacky episode. That's for sure.
Oh, that's This episode made me watch the rest of the show through headphones. I will say.
Yes.
I was not game enough to play anything else out loud.
So yeah, basically the boys, and they put Huey in basically their world's version of like Spider-Man, who was like really messed up. Like he actually had a sphincter anus like thing, and he was also a druggie and stuff like that. So basically they get his costume, put it on Huey. Yeah. And then basically they go to Tech Knight. He goes undercover as the spider guy, and then goes down to his Batcave area, which is a whole BDSM sex dungeon thing, and it's just like fucking. So this is basically like Tech Knight's this world's version of Batman, essentially. Like he's meant to be the best detective and like that, and has his own butler. And it was so funny to see those scenes where he's got like a black butler and just being like super racist and everything like that. And it was just like, God damn, man. Like obviously this is meant to be Batman, but Batman would never do this.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they killed Tech Knight off. Because this was like midpoint of the season. We hadn't had that much in the way of like big deaths. And Tech Knight was a big character in Gen V. He had some of the funniest moments in that show. He's just a complete weirdo. So they come here, they find out all of the information. It was great to see him die, because what the hell of an episode this was. It was just insane stuff. But while Huey's down in the wave, Emmett heart attack up the top. Well, he thinks it's a panic attack. All of the stress leading the boys is caused. And throughout that, Kimiko manages A-Train to run him to a hospital. And then when A-Train's off at the hospital, the kid like sees him and smiles, and there's no cameras, there's no press, it's all real. And this is the moment that turns A-Train around. He gives him this little hero moment where he really just loved that feeling of helping someone. So it's definitely going to come back at some point, whether it's in season 2 of Gen V or the next season of The Boys, and help everyone, because he's like one of the best good guys now from that standpoint.
Yeah. And obviously, that all goes down, and basically Huey gets put through some absolute torture, essentially, and everything like that. We'll probably won't describe it, otherwise probably this video will get taken down.
It's not.
If you want to watch the season, go watch that episode. It was episode 6, Dirty Business, that one. So yeah, basically they all escape, all information, and then basically at the same time while that's all going down, Homelander and Newman basically say to the president and everything like that, being like, hey, this is what's going to happen if we want superheroes to get into power, this is what's going to happen, type thing. And they're trying to get their plan into fruition. But a couple of episodes before that, because we skipped a couple of really, really big episodes, it was episode 4, which is Wisdom of Ages. So basically, like, Homelander, he's going through an arc himself this season, like more of an arc than ever, really, like a lot of mental one. So basically, he goes back to the lab where he was tested on as a kid. And this is actually one of the higher rated episodes this season. And it's understandable because of what goes down and everything like that. It's called Wisdom of Ages, and basically he goes back. He sees the other professors, or the doctors and stuff like that that worked on him and everything like that, and he brings cake for everyone to eat and stuff like that. And he's kind of like asking them questions, being like, "Oh, I remember when you used to torture me as a kid and put me in this sort of oven, essentially, that would like burn all his clothing off and would burn him. Obviously, like he's invincible and stuff like that to it, but it would still hurt him, type thing." And he obviously remembers that and staring. So he kind of starts torturing him, and then he puts one of the doctors into the oven, and then absolutely just burns to an absolute crisp. Type thing. He then gets the other doctor to do some stuff to himself, and then he shoots off his dick. Which would just see like him laughing his head off. He's absolutely torturing everyone there, type thing. And then another professor who was the lady type thing comes down and like tells him off, type thing, as he's a big kid, and that's essentially like his character as well. He's just like a big kid who is like has his godlike powers and everything like that, and he's always like stuck in that mindset, and that's always been this Homelander character. But now he's starting to realize, oh, like I am getting older and everything like that, but I still got to get over my past and everything. He then kills everyone in the lab, shuts the vault door, which was his old bedroom and stuff like that, leaves the professor lady in there with blood and guts and everything everywhere in the room. He is absolutely covered in blood, going up the elevator and just leaves her there, locked in there.
Yeah.
So that was that
crazy.
episode.
This is the season Homelander loses his shit.
Yes.
He's going absolutely insane. Across these 8 episodes, we see his mental state just completely decline from, but it wasn't very high at the start, but like it just drops in the end of this season. He's nuts. He's gonna put people into camps. He's gonna just laser everyone off. He wants to kill like everyone except Ryan, his son. Who Ryan doesn't really like him either, but he's kind of back and forth between him and Butcher. Who Butcher is also in the same sort of boat where he's losing his own sanity as well. So we got this really cool duality on both sides for the boys in the suits.
Yes,
that's really cool to see. So the next thing I'd like to mention is Ryan, his character this season, because he was actually like really good this season.
Yeah,
he was one of my favorite parts, which was kind of come out of nowhere because I wasn't the biggest fan of Ryan for the first 3. You know, he was kind of just more there of like just a MacGuffin to keep the story going. But here he's really coming into his own. The story's making a lot more sense. So how did you feel about what they've done to Ryan this season?
Yeah, no, he's definitely grown as like a better character, and I think now because the actor is like a bit older as well now, because it's actually kind of funny. Was it the first season when they teased him or whatever? It was a different actor as well, and
yeah.
And then he's kind of like coming to his own this season, which is good. Like he's not really going for like Butcher, and then he's also not really going for like Homelander as well. He's kind of stuck in between almost, and he just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, until this is, I feel like we're leading up to the final episode here, where everything gets flipped on its head in a weirdly timed presidential assassination episode. We basically get a reveal that everything's going nuts. Ryan is basically deciding to stay with Homelander over Butcher and Mallory after they essentially try and lock him away until they can teach him to be good, sort of thing. Which is the huge catalyst that sets off Butcher into giving in to Kessler, into the cancer tumor V thing, and sort of just kind of becoming like an evil version of himself, letting all these dark thoughts sort of take over. He's going to kill every superhero.
Yeah, well, this is now the whole scorched earth idea, which he originally wanted.
Yeah. So while that's happening, Huey and the boys are trying to defend he's the president, I think? Yeah, trying to defend the president from an assassination via a shapeshifter who, over the past 2 episodes, I think, they were trying to find out who it is. And they have been very unsuccessful. And throughout those episodes, we've had little hints and eventually just showing us that it's been Starlight. The real Starlight's been locked in like a attic or a basement somewhere. And then the shapeshifter Starlight's over there messing with Huey. And that was a whole other thing. Poor Huey, he's going through it this season.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he definitely went through it this season in multiple ways.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's such a poor... I feel so bad for him. Oh, so yeah, that's happening. They eventually... Starlight eventually breaks out and, like, meets him there. And they all have a big fight until they can get away, in which... I think, no, Homelander threatens Newman. That's sort of like the next part that happens.
Yeah, that's
right?
basically like that's the beginning of the episode.
Everyone.
On live TV, everyone's watching
yeah, that's right.
and stuff like that. And yeah, basically he's gotten to a point now where obviously the shapeshifter failed their job. The boys killed him and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the plan's going to sit
them.
Gets them. Sister Sage has now been at this point in time. Has been kicked out by Homelander because he's like, I listen to Firecracker, which we didn't mention yet. Firecracker is actually a newer character they've also added this season.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's there as an interest for Homelander for reasons. He needs his milk. That's all I would say.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Ew. It's gross. But she got better as it went along too.
That was funny. Yeah.
At first, I was like, I cannot stand this girl in any way. But she got more, like, the more and more flaws that they brought out in her character, and then, like, the sickness and everything, like, doing everything for Homelander at the cost of her own health. That was really cool to see. I hope we see more of her, and I hope they keeping her this flawed, give her a little bit more story.
Yeah, because she also has like a personal connection to Starlight as well, which caused Starlight to go out of control in other episodes. Because like they were in the same beauty pageant, and Starlight was like a bully towards her, and that was a whole thing and stuff like that. Which was kind of nice, like bringing that connection together with those characters. But yeah, basically on live television, Homelander, this is basically at this point in time he's lost it. Ryan's left. And everything like that, and not listening to him anymore. He knew he went to go and see Butcher, and stuff like that. And he's just like, I ain't having it. So basically, on live television in front of the entire world, he lasers Newman, who then in return obviously uses her powers and stuff like that to cancel out it and being like, type thing, and finally reveals Newman to be there and out and about and everything like that, and as a soup essentially. But a couple episodes before that, we also forgot Stan Edgar made a return this season in one of the episodes. Back. The boys had to get him out because he knew where the virus would be, and then they go to a little camp place, and the boys and Butcher and Stan and Newman, they all team up trying to survive this farmland with souped up sheep and chickens.
That was hilarious.
That was funny. That was a very wacky episode. That episode was great. And then obviously from there, they try to escape, and they have a point to get the virus. And then the only way to escape is to use the virus on a body. So then the sheep will get into it. And the professor guy, that's also Newman's boyfriend, basically is the guy that knows about it. So then they all escape and everything like that. And while they're all trying to escape, we find out that Butcher actually cut off the scientist's leg to make it look like he died. But no, he just kind of hid him away somewhere, which was kind of weird. Like he must have I don't know how he hid him. And then like the entire search force of like Vought was like looking on the property.
Quick.
Yeah. Like that was a bit odd.
But he also had the Kessler influence in that as well.
Yes.
So we can assume, because there's a point in the series where he just starts blacking out and he kills Ezekiel, the stretchy dude from the first season. And he just kind of blacks out. So I guess we can assume that Kessler had something to do with the whole...
I'm guessing, yeah.
Getting rid of the body. It would make sense. It doesn't really matter either way.
And then basically, he gets away with him and forces him to make the virus, which he then makes the virus and then tries to use it on Kimiko, and then they have to cut off Kimiko's leg before it spreads anymore. Otherwise, it would kill her. And then he somehow runs away with one leg, and we don't see him again after that. type thing. Yeah, which then leads us to the season finale where basically Newman's been revealed to be a soup, and she's basically had enough of Homelander, and she tries to she calls Huey, being like, I need help, get me out of here, I don't want this to happen, please help me and my daughter type thing, because she's basically the type of character that's been this entire time doing everything for her daughter to save her daughter and stuff like that. While all that's going, also as well, I forgot, Frenchie had like a whole story arc this season as well. There's so much this season. And everything like that. Like
I forgot about Frenchie.
I love her, and he went to jail for a bit, and then they got him out, and now he's making V super virus, and then he makes us a V super virus, and they're gonna use it on Newman, and then they may try and make him deal with Newman. And then while all that deal's going down, and I'm sure if you've seen stuff related to the boys this season and stuff like that, it's already been revealed, like it's everywhere right now. It's basically Butcher, has turned to his cancer, his Joe Kessler side and stuff like that. The dark side, because he's basically Ryan's turned against him because Ryan killed Mallory, pushed her against a wall because he just doesn't know his power still and everything like that. He's a kid still and everything like that, but kills her. But after Butcher saw that, he's like, I need to kill everyone now. Like, that's it. I thought I could help the kid and everything like that, but he's like, I can't help him. It's like, this is it. So then he turns to Kessler and being like, do it type thing. And then he turns into like this. He's basically Venom.
Yeah, I guess. It was so weird. And I don't think I would have picked it as like a give Butcher powers of weird cancer tentacles coming out of his heart.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd.
It's
because
a bit
obviously
odd,
you know from reading, it's a bit odd in there. Oi.
Yeah.
He done kill my wife,
Huey.
and he took my son.
Yeah. I'm sick of hearing that.
Yeah, because obviously you know from reading the comics that originally all the boys, they actually have V in the system. They are kind of like super powered and everything like that. And that was the one big thing they changed in the show.
Everywhere.
Just give it to him. Yeah,
which is good because that's a stupid thing.
Yeah. So that was like the one thing that was actually like, oh, how is Butcher gonna go up against Homelander type thing? And it turns out this is going to be the way, souped up cancer powers. Because basically what happens, because this entire like past couple of seasons, we thought Newman was invincible, same level as Homelander. No, Butcher just grabs her with his tentacle arms and rips her apart.
Yeah,
which was
that
insane.
Was crazy. So he's got really
that was crazy.
Really quickly, this is gonna be nuts because this is all just set up for the next season. This entire finale was great, amazing. Nothing really gets resolved. It's entirely set up. Oh my god, is it like the best setup that the show could have done?
Yeah.
It's great. The ending of this episode, basically, the new president gets sworn in, and in doing so, signs over pretty much like martial law rules to Homelander, where he has like an army of all of the superheroes now, and he can do pretty much whatever he wants. While the boys have to sort of just kind of run away. They all get fake passports and split up. They're like, there's no way we can deal with this. We got to get out of here. So they all split up and leave, but they all get like captured or imprisoned by Soups or Vought guys. And the only one that manages to get away is Starlight, because she flies away. Her powers are back now. In that moment, she's gone. Pew. And that's kind of where we led off. We get the Soldier Boy reveal again at the end, but we're in a bit of a dire situation leading into the season finale, Barry.
Yeah. Basically, the Soups are all being like, you can start capturing people and stuff like that. And this is Homelander's entire plan now is coming into fruition, because it turns out this was also Sage's plan from the beginning as well. Even though she got like kicked out of the Seven and everything like that, it's like, no, she knew that was going to happen and everything that was going to happen.
She's been doing things behind the scenes.
They've been doing things because she is the smartest person.
Some of the things
in the world,
Some of the things that she's been doing include my favorite part of this season, the Deep. What has become one of the funniest characters
and also
in the entire
Black
show.
Noir.
And also Black Noir. Those two were some of the standouts of this entire season. Whenever one of them or both of them were on screen, it was
just a comedy
hilarious.
duo. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so great. And like, Deep is an awful character. He's terrible. He's one of the worst people in the show. But my God, is he hilarious?
Yeah, yeah.
He's just such an idiot. I love seeing him, and I
And he
really
killed
hope
his
they wait a
octopus
little bit
girlfriend.
before killing. Oh, the octopus. That's right. The
Do you know
octopus
who
is dead
voiced the
now.
octopus?
Was it Tilda Swinton?
It was Tilda Swinton.
It was, yeah. That's such a wacky thing.
That is such a wacky thing, because some of the things that Octopus was saying and doing this season
Oh Lord.
was just like, okay.
Yeah, that's
like,
another thing. This season
that's yeah.
somehow still manages to surprise us with its level of gore, violence, and explicit sexual content in the weirdest ways. There is not one moment where any of those are like expected or at a level you think it's going to be, especially the sexual content. There's no one's normal in this show. There's absolutely nothing normal going on. And it really just kind of makes me question who the writers are and should they be on some kind of list. Like,
Maybe. There's always like
great.
every single joke in the show is something always like sexual related, and that's the thing. It's always has been for this show. Like I think that's just like kind of the
But it
premise.
somehow manages to keep it surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've seen the worst thing ever, the next season has something just equally or more insane.
Like titty milk to the
what
face.
hell,
That
man?
was a whole scene.
Yeah. See, it just comes out of nowhere. You never expect it. You know the
I
show.
did not expect that.
and you've seen
Homelander
the
did not
show,
expect that.
but it just stuff happens. Yeah. It's so mental. Yeah. Should we final thoughts and ratings for The Boys season 4 then? Man.
Yeah. So my final thoughts is basically I did enjoy this season for what they did, and definitely where it's going to lead and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as previous seasons, though, if I'm being honest. Because to me, this felt very much like a massive setup to the final season. And it didn't really feel like its own unique season, like its own like beginning and end and stuff. And that's what past seasons kind of still felt like. They had a villain that they needed to take down and would take it down by the end of it type thing, where this one's very much like, no, this is still continuing, which is like they said that from the start, because they actually did announce season 5 before season 4 did get released, and they're being like, hey, season 5 is going to basically be the last one. It's a shame we have to wait till 2026 now to say it, but we are getting the second season of Gen V in between, which I hope that kind of leads, this season 4 leads into the next season, Gen V, and stuff like that. And I am, like I said, I am very much looking forward to seeing what they do with now the official final season of The Boys type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was just parts to this season, I think, with a few of the characters and stuff like that, with like Starlight. I just didn't enjoy her as much as previous seasons and stuff like that. And I think this comes down to as well, there was a lot they had to do, but for these 8 episodes this season, like I'm talking a lot, and there's so much stuff they probably wanted to do, but being like, no, we've only got 8 episodes still. We're gonna have to cut that type thing, or not continue upon those elements. And then there was just like a few episodes and a few things they did with a couple of the other characters where it was just like, do you really need to do that type thing? And it just, there was like, I understand like the point of like a bit more filler type thing, but it's also like the reason they did that was for the lead up to the next season. And to me, that's what it felt like. It was just a big, massive lead up to next season, even though it was still good. And this is the thing with The Boys, like the Boys will always be good and stuff like that, compared to a lot of TV shows that are being released and everything right now that are out there and stuff like that. But it just like
the Acolyte, cough, cough.
Yeah. And everything like that. So I'm going to give this 7.5 for this season of The Boys.
Okay. That's a good score. I think I'm sitting on an 8 out of 10. Like you
Yep.
said, some of the little character side stories did not hit, and it's particularly the ones that weren't finished or were set up. The one that
Yeah.
comes to mind is Kimiko's little like friend from when she was
That's
young.
right. I forgot
shows
about
up,
that. That's another
They have a
thing.
huge moment,
Yes.
and then it's not resolved. It's just
Yep.
kind of it fades away in that one
Yep.
episode. Similar thing with Frenchie and his boyfriend for a little bit, because they have a
Yep.
fight. He leaves, and then like that's not resolved quite. Like,
Yeah, but
it's
then
just
he
not
obviously knew that,
resolved.
and then like got with Kimiko, and then I was like so excited that they finally acknowledged that they do have feelings for one another. And
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
that's all I
No, that
needed.
was
I was
good.
so happy. That finally happened.
Yeah, that final was great, but like the other things, it's just like you could have taken these things out, unless they all come back in season 5 and everything gets resolved, which is I think what's happening. But it still leaves some of them very unsatisfying. It
Yep.
feels like they could have been done and solved, or just not done yet. I don't know. But there's apart from those little moments, the show as a whole is still so consistently good. It does have its
Yep.
flaws, of course, as any TV show
And that's
does.
yeah,
But,
and
oh
like
man,
another
so
thing as
good.
well is the Black Noir character this season as well.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I the only thing I can hope is season 5 we kind of get like an explanation as to where he came from, because he's basically like a talking version of Black Noir. Well, he is Black Noir too,
Well,
essentially.
He's an actor.
But he
He's
has
an actor superhero.
superpowers.
They just hired to play him. Yeah, well, he's just a soup actor.
But I'm just like, is he more than that, or
yeah.
is that it? Because the guy's basically, he can fly, he can do a lot of shit, and it's like, are they going to reveal him to be like basically another version of Homelander, essentially? And he's also
no, I don't know. I feel like they're just gonna...
narcoleptic, which was the funniest thing because the actual actor is narcoleptic, and so they kept it and wrote it into the thing. So when he actually passed out in that scene with Butcher when they were doing a whole fight and everything, and just falls down, that was actually him just going to sleep.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Some moments like that is just great. The action still peak. It's so good. The visual effects on everything have improved season to season. That's definitely a thing that we see. I am so excited, especially for Gen V season 2, because we can kind of have an idea of what's happening in The Boys season 5. As far as we know, it is The Boys. It's going to surprise us, but we know how that story is kind of going to round out. But with Gen V, we have no idea. So I'm kind of more excited for that.
And they did have the two people from Gen V. I forget their names.
Oh, that's right.
The one that like lost her hand.
Sam
talked to
and the
Sam
blonde
and
lady.
Yeah. They did have them at the end of this one and a couple episodes and stuff like that. So obviously, I think they will be put into obviously next season of Gen V and everything like that. Unfortunately, one of the actors did pass away from Gen V and stuff like that, and I know they currently are filming Gen V and everything, and they've managed to find a way of writing out his character and everything. So we're still not sure what's going to go and everything like that. But obviously, we'll probably see those characters again returning in that. And a lot of people are speculating as well now that we might see a couple of the Boys characters pop up, because since they've been captured in Gen V season 2, and they might be where the other main characters we're following in Gen V might be in the same place.
Who knows, dude? It could be anything. But we'll have to wait and see. If We Talk Film's still around, we'll cover that then. I think that's it for us today. The 7.5 out of 10 from Barry, 8 out of 10 for me. Go watch The Boys. But
go watch The Boys.
Make sure you do it with headphones on. That's it from us.
Yeah, that's one thing with The Boys. Make sure you watch it with headphones, and it's not a family friendly thing.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
and neither's next week. We're going to be covering
joining everyone. Yes. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit all those things. Stay notified for next week's podcast, because, oh my boy, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be probably the biggest podcast we've ever done. So make sure you're around for that. And we'll catch you all in the next episode. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. This next episode's going to be huge as a Jackman. That's the least obvious tease we can say, right?
Well, Ryan Reynolds is basically Canada's god.